Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Train Sim World 2 here on the channel.
You're on yard duty today. There are several locomotive sets that need moving around. If you climb aboard each one, I'll brief you on what's required.
So as you heard, we are on yard duty today. We are stuck. No, we're not. Go ahead and climb on this consist here of some SD40-2s, and we're gonna go ahead and start our yard duty. All right, so on board here, the SD40-2, we got 3 of them. Lights are on bright. Let's go ahead, throw on our ditch lights and our gauge lights, and we are all set. So, independent brake released. Automatic brake released. Reverser handle should go in. That would be useful. Throw this thing in forward. 2 of the horn, and we are off. Alright, coming to a stop here, we have finally gotten past the switch that we need to back up onto, as we'll slowly roll to a stop. Go ahead, throw this thing in neutral. And if you play this game, the one thing you'll know is they do not line up switches for you, so just went through. All of our switches are lined up properly, and we are ready to go ahead and get this thing going. So let's go ahead, throw this in reverse. Release our brakes, sound the horn twice, give it some throttle, and we are underway. Now, unfortunately, we don't have Bill working the yard with us here in the conductor's seat, but here is the train we're going to be coupling up to, passing on our left now. Alright, and so we have finally passed the end of the consist of coal cars here. We just have to pass this switch up, and it is already set for us to go ahead and go onto that track and couple up to it. Alright, so here we go. Set in forward, give it some throttle, give it the horn, and we are ready to head forward and couple up. Alright, so there we go. We are coupled. Let's go ahead, switch off the lights here. Ditch lights, step lights, and gauge lights. Put this into neutral, full service. And take the reverser. Can we take it out? There we go, take that out. And we are off to our next job. And up next, we got a job here on this AC 4400, 2 of them actually, on an auto rack consist. And this is gonna be our first time operating one here on the channel in the CSX operation. So let's go ahead and hop on this. And of course, they tell us to go ahead and climb in the engineer's seat. And they're like, oh yeah, by the way, you should probably make sure the rest of the train is decoupled from it first. So we're gonna have to get down here and real quick uncouple these guys, just like that. So everything's set, air brakes are cut in, fuel generator, all that good stuff is on. Let's go ahead, before we do this, open up the window, sound the horn twice, throw on the bell, and actually we gotta check where we're going. So it actually doesn't matter, we have to go straight for a little bit to be able to turn around. So give this thing some power, and we are underway. Alright, so we have got to where we need to be, and this part of the journey is gonna get a little stop and go, and I mean that quite literally. So basically, we're gonna have to go forward on this track, back up onto this track, just so we can go forward and get on these tracks down here so we can get to where we need to be. So let's go ahead and start this process. Alright, so this switch that we're coming up on right now is the one that we're gonna need to back up onto. So let's go ahead, just make sure we can get the 2 engines past the switch here, throw this back into idle, And once we get this past the switch on our right here, as we're already speeding, we're back down to 10 miles an hour now in the limit. We'll go ahead. That should be a good distance. Let's go ahead and throw on the full service. Alright, so the switches are set. Let's go ahead, throw this thing in reverse. Release the brakes. Let's give it some throttle. 2 blasts of the horn. And we are underway. And there we go. Final maneuver complete. We are all set. Let's just go ahead real quick, make sure our switches are aligned, which I believe they should be. So we got, oh, good thing we checked. That going straight, that going straight. Off to the left, and that'll bring us right to where we need to be. And alright, here we are. We've gotten to the fuel shed just about 80 yards away. We're just coasting slowly in here. We'll be able to stop pretty quickly, so we'll wait till we get just a tad closer here to throw on the brakes. Let's go ahead. Let's give this thing not even full service, and we are there. Alright. We have done that, and it is time to fuel up this engine. Let's shut off the bell and get to that. Alright, so we are all fueled up. Let's go ahead, throw this back here, hop back in the engineer's seat, and we will await our further instructions. Alright, all we got to do is back these 2 engines up to here. Tracks are switched. Let's go ahead, release the brakes, throw this thing in reverse, add some throttle, 2 horns, and we are set to go. Alright, so that job is complete. We got one last job all the way down there, and of course, we gotta walk. Alright, so before we even go over there, I know we're gonna have to set the turntable, so we're just gonna go ahead and do that now and save ourselves the trouble of hopping in the locomotive and having to get out and do this. So there's the locomotive we need, and the track is lined up. Alright, so you heard dispatch. Get this thing on the turntable and get it hooked up to the right train. So main breaker on, and we actually got to get up and go start the engine ourselves here. So let's go ahead. Can we open up the door? Come on. There we go. Open up the door. Alright, where's the primer? Here it is. Hold that for 4 seconds. And we can go ahead. Oh, okay. Guess we don't need to start it. I was under the assumption we'd have to use it to start. Oh, there we go. Delayed start, I guess. I don't know. I'm not an expert. So let's go ahead. Switch isolate to run. There we go. Cut in valve. Set that to freight. And let's go ahead, throw on our ditch lights, step lights, gauge lights, headlights on to bright. Those are set. We got to set our reverser handle in. Rear headlights to bright. Let's give the horn 2 times. Set this thing to forward. Release all the brakes, and let's give this thing some throttle. Alright, so pulling on to the turntable here. We're going pretty slow, but I'm just going to throw this into idle anyway. Just try to use our momentum to slow us down. Get a little more forward here, and then we'll go ahead and we'll park that thing right there. Throw that in full service. Let's go ahead, let's switch this turntable around. Alright, so we're on the last turn here. Basically what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to back this engine out through the yard so we can pull forward through the yard the opposite way, so that way we can back into the train we have to couple to, if any of that just made any sense. Here's a look at the map. Basically, we have to back out this way so we can pull forward this way and then back up to the train here. So let's hop in the engine and let's start that process. so there we go. We are connected. Let's go ahead, shut this engine down, turn off the lights here, turn those off as well. And I think that is it for us. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, our day in the yard is done. And all we have to do left is head back to the office building here, cutting across multiple tracks, which I'm sure this isn't what you're supposed to do, but this is a video game. We don't care about safety. There's no trains coming. So this will wrap up our clear-cut track operations here for CSX. Another gold medal for us. And again, if you guys are liking the content, be sure to comment, like, subscribe, and we got more Train Sim World 2 content coming your guys' way next week.